Dennis Winslet. I'm the education specialist here at the American Jazz Museum. The American Jazz Museum was founded in 1997, and it's the only physical museum in the world dedicated to presenting the history and presenting the music that is America's only indigenous art form, which is jazz. I'm a professional musician, and I actually went to Olathe North and was a student of Ed Colson, who is now at Olathe Northwest. And my first trip to 18th and Vine District was when I was about 14 years old, and I think I was in junior high, and I was a saxophone player, and I caught the attention of some local musicians who kind of grabbed me and pulled me in, and under their tutelage, I just decided that that's what I wanted to do.
The 18th and Vine District is internationally known for being one of the world's hottest spots for jazz. People say jazz was born in New Orleans, but it grew up in Kansas City. The style that erupted from the area in the 30s and 40s is legendary, and the musicians themselves have gone down in history as the fathers, innovators, creators, and legends of American music. Since then, things have slowed down, but more recently things have started to pick back up, and there are many bright things in the future.
The museum originated, it was the brainchild of a group of concerned musicians and Horace Peterson, a politician here in Kansas City, who had the ideal of revitalizing the historic 18th and Vine District. And how that came about, Horace Peterson, a group of musicians and other politicians, got together with the former mayor, Emanuel Cleaver, to find the funding to put together a museum campus. And around the same time, the Negro League Baseball Museum, which had already existed, decided to come along, and that's how we ended up with the 18th and Vine Museum campus, which is the home of the Negro League Baseball Museum and the American Jazz Museum.
For a long period of time, 18th and Vine was filled with empty lots, garbage, and decaying buildings. However, in the late 80s and early 90s, this trend ended with efforts from local politicians and musicians to rejuvenate the area to its once booming status. The district now holds many of the city's gems, historical buildings, and landmarks, and it is on its way to becoming what it once was.
And this used to, for almost a century, this housed professional offices, black doctors, black lawyers, black professionals would have their office. Now it's the home of the Black Archive and a couple other, I think the Black Economic Union is housed in that building. The only thing left remaining was the front facade. And so literally, you would have saw the front and you would have walked around and you can see, like, the only thing remaining was from here to here. And so literally you would walk around to the other side of this and it would be, an empty lot. And it was actually on this corner, the corner of 18th and Vine, that Charlie Parker met the young John Coltrane. And so, well, this is the Charlie Parker Memorial, and it's a unique sculpture by the artist Robert Graham. Charlie Parker was so influential amongst musicians that when he passed away prematurely at the age of 34, musicians and fans all over the country would inscribe "Bird Lives" on everything. And that concept, if you think about Charlie Parker's music, is that it still lives on. He's still one of the most revered and most studied musicians in American history. Tom Pendergast, who was the mayor in the 1930s, or Boss Pendergast as he was known, there's a lot of folklore, but he was obviously tied to a lot of underworld, corruption, crime.
Pendergast began the so-called hubbub of the 18th and Vine District by allowing many illegal things to happen in the area. This brought in many people from all over. Musicians looking for work came into Kansas City and made their lives from playing the over 120 clubs that line the streets of the Jazz District.
You had all of this and anything you wanted to indulge in. They called Kansas City Paris of the Plains in the 1930s because it was the Las Vegas of its day. What happened here stayed here.
It wasn't until the boycott on the downtown district happened that the area's success began to dwindle. Blacks started leaving the area and using the downtown district for more entertainment. This left many holes in the area, as many of them even moved from 18th and Vine. Also around this time, the state of Missouri came in and cracked down on the corruption of the community. 18th and Vine went from being an entertainment district to more of an industrial community. From the Jazz Museum, the Mutual Musicians Foundation, the Black Economic Union, restaurants, and even the residents of 18th and Vine, they are all working towards maintaining this dream and keeping the dream alive.